Synapse. What is a synapse? It's a junction between two cells where action potential will be transferred from one cell to another cell. The first cell is called presynaptic neuron, and it's an axon terminal, the very end of the axon of one neuron. Another cell that receives action potential is called postsynaptic cell, usually neuron, but it also can be a muscle cell or a gland cell. That portion of the presynaptic neuron is called presynaptic terminal. Then we have that tiny space between two cells, and it's called synaptic cleft. And postsynaptic membrane. It has a lot of proteins embedded in it, protein channels. Inside of the presynaptic terminal, there will be synaptic vesicles, tiny vesicles containing substance called neurotransmitter. As you remember, for the skeletal muscles, the neurotransmitter would be acetylcholine. When electrical signal arrives right here, it makes synaptic vesicles to open and release neurotransmitter acetylcholine into the synaptic cleft. Acetylcholine molecules start moving here and there and finally hit those postsynaptic neuron protein channels. That causes action potential in the postsynaptic neuron cell membrane, which will spread through that cell. When electrical signal is transferred, let's say it was a muscle, and electrical signal arrived through the motor neuron, activated that muscle contracted. What happens to acetylcholine that is still sitting in the synaptic cleft? It should be removed. We don't want that muscle to keep contracting. So acetylcholine will be broken by a special enzyme, acetylcholine esterase. It splits acetylcholine into acetate or acetic acid that will just simply drift away, and another portion will be choline, and it will be taken inside and will be reused again to make acetylcholine. Neurotransmitter only fits in one receptor, so every cell should have different receptors for different types of neurotransmitters. And neurotransmitters can excite some cells, cause change into them, and inhibit other cells, prevent any changes in them. There are different pathways depending on how cells are connected to each other, nervous cells. Sometimes our brain, for example, needs to collect information from all over the body to know how the body is feeling, what's the body temperature in different parts. So neurons through their synapses merge, and those neurons merge again, and that is called convergent pathways. Many neurons converge and synapse with each other, finally producing smaller amount of neurons going to the brain. Divergent pathways, it's when, for example, we want to run and our brain is supposed to activate a lot of skeletal muscles all over the body. Then small number of presynaptic neurons synapse with large number of postsynaptic neurons. There are other types of circuits, but we are not studying them in this class.